In this video, I share my strategies for achieving my goals by following simple rules that increase consistency and pave the path for success. I believe that by setting goals, I add a sense of purpose and direction, and by pursuing these goals, I add consistency in my daily life. In this video, I share 3 simple rules that I follow to achieve my goals. Here's how I do it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is unbroken rules, which essentially is just frameworks that I use every day, because I believe it's much easier to follow a good habit instead of making a hard decision daily. This way I set myself up to succeed by structuring my daily life to make the right decisions on autopilot instead of forcing myself to get in situations where I consciously have to make the right decisions every time. To give an example, I pretty much structure my entire day in the way that I will do all my productive tasks in the earlier part of the day, and then when I hit dinner, I make it a point to not do any productive things from dinner until I head to bed. So imagine that from early morning I do my training, and then I do all the productive sort of school and YouTube stuff during the day, and then I eat dinner and have the whole evening just to chill and do whatever I feel like. So by having this automated rule, I don't really think about if I want to do my training or want to do my homework. I literally just do it because I know that in the evening I have my time to chill. And by following this rule, I also feel that I have a lot of balance in my life because I get a lot of things done. But in the evening, I just have time for myself where I can watch YouTube or do whatever I want. So by following these unbroken rules and essentially making some of my daily decisions go on autopilot, I make it much easier for myself to obtain my goals, because I think that most of my goals are just a sum of a lot of right but small decisions instead of a few very big decisions. What I mean by this is that I have a goal of running a sub-3 marathon, and I believe that by doing a lot of runs every week for a lot of weeks, I increase my probability of doing the sub-3 marathon much more than if I just did a few extremely hard run workouts here and there. So by improving my daily habits with these unbroken rules, I think that I achieve my goals much more effectively. The second thing that I want to talk about is deep knowledge. I really love going deep on a specific topic of knowledge because I find that the specific topic gets much more interesting when you go deep and really get into the details of it. What I mean by having deep knowledge on a specific topic is that you really specialize in that certain area of knowledge and thereby can get a very nuanced perspective of that topic. I also find it a lot more fun to geek out and really become a nerd on a specific topic instead of having entry-level knowledge on a lot of different areas. Sometimes I just come across a new topic and pursue it with maximal effort because I find it so interesting. That's how I got into training and nutrition, and when I discovered that interest, I just couldn't stop watching videos, reading books and articles, and listening to podcasts about the topic. But pursuing this deep knowledge has without a doubt swapped out some other information. For an example, I never read or watch the news because I feel like whenever I do, I can't change anything that they are talking about, and then my brain just thinks that it is quite unactionable knowledge because I can't really do anything about it, and thereby it makes me pretty uninterested. And after reading The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, I realized that I was not the only one feeling this way. In his book, he calls it the low information diet or selective ignorance, and what he is essentially describing is not using up space in your mind with information that you can't really use for anything. And to quote him from his book, he said, "It is imperative that you learn to ignore or redirect all informations or interruptions that are irrelevant, unimportant or unactionable." Some of you maybe think that this is kind of a childlike mentality, but to be honest, I haven't found myself in one situation where I needed that knowledge from the news, other than in the situations where I could prevent the awkward moment or situation of me not having a clue of what they were talking about. But maybe I just like living in this little bubble of deep knowledge and information. So instead of feeling obligated to stay on top of all the news, I use a lot more energy on researching and developing knowledge on specific areas that really interest me. So by focusing on consuming information that are highly relevant to my goals and aspirations, I become much more focused on that topic and create an information environment that really focuses on the specific goals that I want to achieve. And the third strategy I want to talk about is choosing the right goal. I believe that when I'm setting a goal and it scares me because I'm not quite certain that I'm able to achieve it, that's when I found the right goal. By shooting for a goal that seems quite unattainable, I make myself work much harder in the process and really prove to myself what I'm capable of during the process. No matter if I ultimately reach this milestone or not, I believe that I move myself so much further by setting this scary goal instead of aiming for a more reasonable goal. To give an example of this, I will compare running a sub 3 marathon to a sub 3:15 marathon. So at the moment, my personal best is 3 hours and 16 minutes, which I did at the Barcelona Marathon. So if I completed the upcoming Seoul Marathon in sub 3:15, I would make a personal record and I would definitely be very happy afterwards. But I am aiming for a sub 3 marathon, even though I'm not quite sure that I'm able to complete it, because by setting the goal of sub 3 hours and training for that, I will, in my opinion, without a doubt, work much harder than if the goal was 3 hours and 15 minutes. And if I cross the finish line in 3 hours or not, I will definitely make a new personal record of sub 3:15. Besides this, I also think it's very important that I choose a goal that really interests me. I know this seems kind of obvious, but I think that if the goal really interests me, I find it much easier to do the hard work when it gets challenging. I do, for example, find it much easier to do editing on the videos even though I have a low level of energy compared to if I have to do some homework for school at the same energy level. So by truly being interested in the topic, it makes the process to achieving the goal so much more enjoyable. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see how I prepared for the sub 3 marathon that I mentioned earlier, I made a video about my last big workout before the race, and do also make sure to look out for the upcoming video from the Seoul Marathon. The last thing that I want to do in this video is just that I want to wish you a great day. Take care.